Don Bosco, the fascinating saint. Don Bosco is perhaps the most amazing and fascinating saint history has ever produced. The humble work which he began for the welfare of his poor and abandoned boys in Italy has produced astonishing results. And today, there are nearly 14,000 Salesians working in 138 countries. And there are more than 200,000 members belonging to the 32 groups of the worldwide Salesian Family, sharing the charism of Don Bosco and reaching out to the needy young people. Salesians of Don Bosco are a male religious congregation actively involved in a number of educational, pastoral and social activities such as schools, colleges, universities, youth centers, technical schools, parishes, social welfare centers, orphanages, street children centers, rural empowerment centers, women development activities, centers of excellence and so on, reaching out to thousands and thousands of needy and deserving young people all over the world. The Sons of Don Bosco are indeed a large global presence in 138 countries today. In 44 countries of the Africa-Madagascar region, in 6 countries in the South Asia region, in 22 countries of the East Asia-Oceania region, in 18 countries in the Inter-America region, in 5 countries in the America South Cone region, in 17 countries in the Mediterranean region, and in 26 countries in the North and Central Europe region. It is indeed a great marvel when one thinks, how could this semi-orphan peasant boy from such a poor background give rise to such great works that are benefiting the whole of humanity today? How was it possible? There was definitely some extraordinary divine grace that assisted this Don Bosco. There was something innate in him, a splendid charism that blossomed and began to spread its fragrance. He was indeed a magnetic personality, an irresistible force who could permeate the heart of every person he met. Think of any good quality, and you will see it personified in him. Don Bosco was no doubt a compendium of virtues, skills, talents, and divine grace. A feel of this stupendous saint with these magnificent qualities is the best way to understand him. He was a man of God who could truly offer God's love, mercy, and strength. He knew how to cherish that union with God despite his hectic work and maintain his closeness with God. Don Bosco was a zealous apostle who endlessly grabbed every opportunity to win souls for God, no matter where he was. His only yearning was, "Damihi animas cetra tolle." Give me souls, take away the rest. Don Bosco was a great mystic and contemplative, drawing strength from the one who was his sole inspiration. He was a miracle worker. Our Lady, Mary Help of Christians, manifested her special benevolence in all the works of Don Bosco, and she did everything for him. Every miracle of Don Bosco had the Blessed Mother's hand in it. He was a hard worker who toiled endlessly with selfless activity, dedicating himself totally for the mission. This friend of the youth was also a wonderful musician who could sing, feel, teach music, and make it a means of praising God. His band was very much appreciated by people from all walks of life. He was a juggler and a magician who knew how to attract the young people and lead them to God. He was a good sportsman, an athlete beyond compare, who valued sports as an essential element of his educative system. Don Bosco was a prolific writer, a journalist who knew how to write and efficiently communicate his ideas, fight heresies, and promote good values through good literature. He was a wonderful preacher and an inspiring speaker too, who knew the power of communication, and people thronged to listen to him because they could feel the presence of God in every word he uttered. He was a diplomat and a statesman who knew how to be cordial with all government officials and make himself convincing and credible. Being a master counselor, he knew how to counsel and console, guide and direct everyone in the path of holiness and truth. He was a loving person, a winner of the hearts of thousands of young people. Every young boy who came across him felt that he was individually loved and specially cared for by him. He was a pedagogue, a master educationist, who, through his preventive system of reason, religion, and loving kindness, could make his system of education very humane, spiritual, scientific, and integral. He was a psychologist who knew how to understand the minds and hearts of young people and what their requirements were. He was a dramatist who knew how to popularize theater and art to form young minds and communicate God's message. He was a multifaceted personality, a carpenter, a cobbler, a tailor, a printer, a man who had mastered all forms of trades with humility. He plunged himself into tireless activity of teaching, instructing and forming young minds to apprehend a trade that would fetch them a career. He was a social worker who knew how to make his voice contribute to the society in times of need, be it sickness, plague, or poverty. He defended and fought for the rights of his boys in all the places they worked and in all the situations they were placed. He was a man of poverty, a person who was born poor, lived poor, and died poor. His simplicity, frugal living, and love for the poor can never be forgotten. He was a very optimistic person who was never bogged down by any number of difficulties. His trust in divine providence made him manifest that he was not going to lose heart in any trying situation. He was very good at generating resources, be it for a new basilica or getting a new building built or paying some debts. He knew how to ask, how to beg, and how to win people to help him. Such was the power of this stupendous hero who could make himself so appealing, so spiritual, so credible, and yet so simple, human, and humble in his approach. A simple seed that sprouted in a humble way in a small hamlet in Italy has today outreached its branches far and wide in 138 countries. Don Bosco is no doubt a magical word that has changed the face of humanity and that of the lives of countless young people. The Salesian spirit instilled by Don Bosco is very much present in every aspect of life, be it education, formation, empowerment, evangelization, sport, or media. Don Bosco remains a fascinating saint humanity has ever produced and continues to inspire countless generations to come. His spirit and charism continue to touch and transform humanity. Long live Don Bosco!